Morning, everybody. Michelle is here on this Saturday. I hope everybody's doing fantastic, magnificent, and wonderful because I am. Wow, wow, wow. Today is Saturday, as I said. Kind of cloudy out there, but it's summertime, so that's something I expected. And speaking of what you expect, that something's kind of got me up, kind of thinking this morning, contemplating this morning about certain things. Look at my mark here. All right, cool. Something has gotten me up out of bed and got me a little bit. I want to talk about something, so this might be a long video. So hope whoever hears it hears it. And of course, the beauty of, as I said, of everything about our lives that we don't consider is self-will or free will, actually. The free will you have. And if you can understand that completely, and it's still a learning process for me because of everything else. Everything is always a learning process. And you continue to learn and learn and learn for the rest of your life and for the rest of your lives. Okay, when you consider reincarnation, but we won't go there. All right, today I want to say something that has more. It's bringing a more revelation to me, as I said, or as I have been saying. As I said, 2022, 2023. Okay, let me just share something about everything that's happened to me and what I am. So I told you I'm not a detailed person, right? I told you I hate to stay in the details. I always look for the big picture. And in the meantime, when you're not paying attention to the details, that's when a lot of stuff can fester. Okay? And start to grow and start to grow and start to grow. And because I do not like to stay in so many details, I kind of stay away from the details and allow the details to because sometimes details can take care of themselves without interference, right? You see it, you have a vision. Okay, you see it. Okay, and so but you have to you have to work through certain details just to get to that vision. All right, that's what a lot of people do with a business or entrepreneurs. They see a vision, usually, right? They see a vision of what they want. Okay, and then they say, okay, now how do we get there? And I told you, most of us, for a long time, I would say millennia, longer than anything that I want to talk about. I want to stay on my lifetime right now. I don't want to worry too much about anything except my lifetime right now. So again, like most entrepreneurs, they have a vision of what they want. And then they work with the details to get it, right? I say, they are in that journey of attempting to reach that goal. And everybody likes to stay in the journey. A lot of people like to stay in the details. I do not, because I know how I get bored easily. I can overlook things. This is going to make sense. Trust me. I can overlook things. I can say, well, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. But it becomes a problem because you if you are an entrepreneur or you have a goal or anything in mind, yeah, you are responsible for going in and making sure everything is spinning properly. Okay. So in all of that, in my mind frame, I know that there's a destiny for me. I know there's a destination I want to get to. And just like an entrepreneur, they know what they are looking. Hopefully, see it. Successful people, let's put it that way, know that at some point you have to get to the destination. You have to get to the destiny. All right, successful people know that. They don't necessarily talk about it as much because as a vision, because that's why they call a lot of them visionaries, because they just kind of are staying focused on the vision, on the destiny. And sometimes stuff can be going on in the details that they assume a circle around them is handling business honestly, effectively, and properly. So the reason why, and this is, like I said, it's going to make sense, a lot of visionaries can lose a vision, can lose a destiny if they don't know who the circle of people are around them, helping them towards that goal, towards that destiny, towards that destination. Okay. As an individual entrepreneur, individual visionary, again, my focus is on the destination and the destiny. And sometimes I disregard so much of the journey per se, but it's in a neutralized fashion. Like I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm saying. It's neutralized. Okay, I don't spend a lot of time in details, and there's a reason why, and I'm going to come to it. The danger, there's some value to the detail. I mean, to the destiny and to the destination. That's the goal. That's the outlook. That's what I want. And I know it when I see it. All right? I told you that. I know it when I see it. And now I know it when I hear it. I know it when I feel it. And I know when I sense and receive it. In other words, I've also, during the course of time, enhanced my senses. Okay? And so I told a lot, and so I kept telling people, which I said, I know what I'm doing. Because of experience. But anyway, I always tell people, oh yes, that I'm a dominant visionary person. Yes, that's true. Okay, but as a dominant visionary person, I am still paying attention to what I hear and what I feel. Because as a dominant visionary person, and if you're working on yourself, as I have, over the course of time, my vision will get enhanced, of course, but so does my hearing, so does my feelings, my sensing and receiving. Everything is enhanced or starts to evolve, even though I'm primarily focused on the visionary part of it all, because that's what I like. I love to see the beauty. I'm into the beauty of things, the beauty of people, the beauty of love. Love is beautiful, by the way. All right, I'll come back to that. So, as a visionary person, that's the downfall for a lot of visionaries. All you got to do is look at these so-called billionaire geniuses, or whatever they're being called, or whatever. They'll tell you the same thing. Sometimes they're focusing so much on the vision that they're not paying attention to the details. And the details are usually their employees. Their employees are the details that they do not want to focus on for a reason. of course, because it's distracting, right? But here's the downfall to that, and I'll get to that. So, the visionary in me, I enjoy looking around at forms and colors and abstract, right? I'm an abstract, you know, I'm into abstract thinking, vision, it's just something about that combination of stuff. And it usually is all because, remember, visionaries, you may not see the visionaries' vision, right? Because we have our own. You may have an idea of where the visionary wants to go. And that's when the investors come in and do everything they can to materialize this vision that these entrepreneurs have, or small business owners, or, and let's just take it, so in other words, sometimes, all the time we go out. When we have a vision, what do? We go out and find people to come on our team to assist us to reach that goal, to assist us to reach that destiny. Okay. Now, if you're an individual, in most cases, and you have a vision, most people are not going to see it if they haven't worked on themselves and enhance whatever way that they process information. I mean, they can still hear my vision and still be able to perform or feel it as well as with all the rest of their senses. If they have evolved themselves enough, elevated themselves enough, and they understand the importance of logic, being reasonable and rational thinking, and so they can still, even though they are auditories, circle that. Remember what I said about auditories? No, I'm just joking. But the auditory can still, even though they may not see what I see, they can hear it. And in the feeler, they may not see what I can see, but they can feel it. And that's just as powerful, as along with all the rest of the senses, sense and receiving, blah, blah, there's a lot of other things that come into that. There's, like, I think I said 12 of them, 12 senses. All right. So the visionary. So that's why the visionary usually gets burned a lot, when they do not know who are their circle of friends. They're not necessarily, you don't want to call them circle of friends, actually. When you have a goal in mind, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, you have employees around you, which may or may not include friends. I mean, which may or may include friends, family, associates. Okay, people that know you intimately, or I shouldn't say intimately, but they know you affectionate. They have an affection for you because they know you. They personally know you. And so that's why sometimes I think a lot of people realize that sometimes you don't want to include people that know you, or people that are in your family. You want to kind of dismiss that because of the connection. All right. So I think a lot of successful people have figured that out, or they are figuring that out. You have to know about the company you keep. Now, a lot of people keep saying this, and that's fine. They can say it all day long, but you need to have some relevancy as to why you're saying certain things. You just can't throw out a general statement and say and think, okay, let's think about this. Let's think about it and make sure we are on the same page. Okay, of when you throw out a concept. My favorite blanket here, just to let you know, that helps me to sometimes, keep it together. My security blanket, literally. So the important thing about when you have a vision, okay, I mean, a lot of people say, well, you need to keep that stuff quiet. You don't need to tell everybody everything about yourself. Okay, all right. All right, let's consider that. They say, well, you don't, because a lot of people don't have your best interests, okay? And that's true. Okay, that's exactly the point that I'm getting to. Like I said, a vision. I am right now an individual visionary type of person where, like I see, I've been meditating for 30 years. Okay, I have a certain technique that I've learned from numerous teachers. All of the teachers, whether they're positive or everybody's contribute to, has contributed to my development. Not just one man, not just one woman. It's a whole host of people that have helped to develop me and place me where I am at this moment. And this moment that I am totally sitting in. I'm totally in this present moment right now. So, but sometimes with the visionaries, we can be caught up in the vision, just constantly focus on that and not paying attention to what's going on around us. All right, for me, I don't have that issue because I'm just an individual visionary right now. But like I said, I started a nonprofit. And so at some point, I'm going to have to invite people in to help me with that once I get settled. All right. Now, so say, for example, so I just want these powerful, successful, walking the talking, usually, well, anyway, I just want, let everybody listen. But that particular personality, the ones that are successful, you're creative, you created, and you change the game. I pay attention to people like that. And it's not many, actually, that are changing the game. All right? A lot of people just stay in the pyramid. Okay? They stay in that pyramid of thinking of, well, why reinvent the wheel? Okay. And they like to stay with cookie cutting type of leadership. Just keep repeating. Rinse and repeat. That's it. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Okay. There's some good and bad with that. There's some pros and cons. I mean, just like with everything else. But you still have to pay attention to it. And always take the time to revisit it. And ask yourself, okay, is this what I envisioned? Is this what I heard or felt when I was setting this up or trying to determine this goal or this mission? Because in the details, if they are performing properly, I mean, they can be quite effective, but if they're not, then that's where, that's when stuff starts to degenerate or come apart or discord, destruction, chaos. In other words, you as a visionary person or the person that is attempting to create this vision that they have with a team of people, you still have to pay attention to the details and know who the details are. And usually the details, like I said, are your employees and how that can fester into something out of control. It can cause mayhem, destruction, chaos. And so that's why a lot of people lose their way, because as I said, I love paying attention to the destination and the destiny. But I'm a one-man show, like I said, right now, or one-woman show. But I know once I do venture out and do more, I'm going to have to really pay attention to the company I keep. All right. So when I started that Facebook page, that was my intention, is to bring in similar, like-minded people to assist me with, the evolution of the consciousness is what I call it, repairing cultures or whatever, which means really nothing though. The name of the the name of the effort or the business, that name really is irrelevant. It's more about what's the intention, right? It's the intention, because the names can change, but has the intentions changed? All right, that's where you have to keep revisiting your goal, your destiny, your destination. You have to keep revisiting that, and you need to make sure the company around you is still just as enthusiastic as you are about your goal, about your destiny, about your destination, because in most cases they're not. All right. And there's a cause and effect to prove that. We have the effects to prove it. About your intentions, and how if you are not paying attention. I mean, yes, always stay on the destiny, and always get to the destiny. Ultimately, get to the destiny. And see, a lot of people do not get there because they don't consider these other elements of things that could be going on in the background. And the bigger you get, the more out of control it is, and there's no way you can control it. You won't be able to control it when it gets too much. So biting off more than you can chew. Okay, that's why that's why you see in the efforts, so to speak, or the results of what these so-called leaders are doing, right? And you see how much chaos and destruction they're causing as well, which is possibly worse, than ever. Because, like I say, as a visionary, we're just focusing on the vision. We can care less. This is just general. This is not my feelings or my approach to things, but I'm just giving you a general theory and opinion about what I observe as a visionary person, what I hear and what I feel, because I'm a highly sensory person. I know that. All right, enough of that. But I can see how when you are a visionary person and you have all these employees, remember, whether they're your family member, your husband, your wife, your partner, they're still your employee underneath you, working with you. There can always be things unraveling underneath there that you just don't pay attention to. Because as a visionary, we hate details. I'm being real honest. And if they can't say that, visionary people, if they can't admit that, then, they're lying to you. But the details are important nonetheless. They're the most important thing, but you don't want to you don't want to stay in it. You don't want to stay in the journey, but that's the most important thing. Because you have to safely get there, right? Any journey you take, you have to safely get there. So you need to have the right vehicle, blah, blah. I'm talking in a literal and metaphor. You need the right kind of vehicle. You need to make sure that vehicle is blah, blah, blah. And that's the same thing with the people around you, the circle of friends around you. And that's why the smaller, the better, usually, Just take on just so much. That's why the mom and pop shops were fantastic back in the day. The mom and pops, because usually they had a small collection of people working with them, so they can kind of keep an eye on the books, so to speak. All right. But when you get too huge, and you have all these people around you, you can't figure out. You don't know you don't know the state of affairs of the business. All right, I've already said that about pyramids. Usually the person at the top can care less about what's trickling down. They just want to get paid. It gets to that point. And so it just trickles down, and at the top they can care less. All right, when you in a major pyramid, and we know who those major pyramid companies are, these cookie cutters, that have invaded cities all across this country. You can't tell one city from the other because of this invasion of these corporate entities. Okay, and they'll come into the community and just unravel everything in the community, make all these promises, and then their whole intention, though, is not to stay. For some of them, their whole intention is to leave at some point. All right, it's always about finance. All right, it's always about the bottom line. So so like I said, you can't tell one city from the other anymore. Okay, Florida looks like Georgia. Georgia looks like Mississippi. They all look the same. You can't tell the difference. And so that individuality, that creativity has gone, has left the building. Ever since we've allowed these type of corporate entities to come in and invade cities, leave a mess and leave havoc. And then when they're ready, okay, bye-bye. They pick up and they're gone. And that was their whole intention, by the way. All right, don't be fooled, especially these major cities, San Francisco, okay, Los Angeles, okay, all these major cities where all of a sudden everybody's leaving now. All right, that's what they're promoting with the media, with the media's help, by the way. Everybody's leaving now. Everybody's got to get out of town. The crime, it's the crime, it's the homelessness. Okay, the crime is increasing. The homelessness, the lies, the manipulation, the deception. Okay, so as a visionary person, if you have just enough of people that you can manage, like I said, a mom and pop style, not saying that you need to have the mom and pop there, but you need to know the circle that you keep. And you need to know the company that you keep when you're doing a business, when you're doing a venture, whether it's a nonprofit or not. So, in the course of my developing and every day becoming stronger and stronger in who I am and what I am and why I am, and being very confident in that, and being very grounded in that, and then being also realistic in it, and realize what I can see and how I can get to it. But again, as a visionary person, and I'm an individual, so it's not affecting as much, but it could if I had a team of people around me, or as they say, a circle of associates. Because having a circle of friends is completely different from what you're doing as far as a business venture or a goal or a destiny, as far as attempting to help people and this and that and the other. So now I'm going to speak on so in other words, you got to know the company that you keep, all right? And know how quickly that can unravel when so let's just say this for a minute here. Let me just try to use an example of a situation that happened to me, and that's when, and this is the reason for what I'm saying. I know, in each as a visionary person, we kind of go at our destiny, our destination, the same way. We use the same kind of concepts and habits and behaviors and formulas and procedures because it's successful. As I said, I can get results, and I have got results, and I have proof of my results. So sometimes they say, well, yeah, that in some cases, yeah, you don't want to interfere with something that's working, but you should always go back and test it and make sure there's nothing that has fallen off. Okay, maybe I need to change that tire. Now understand the metaphor, the visual. Okay, that tire looks a little different from the other tire. What's going on? In other words, you need to go back. I constantly go back in and investigate and make sure as often as possible and make sure whatever I'm visioning, whatever my destiny is, okay, is the same factor still there? Has anything changed in the meantime? Because sometimes, yes, sometimes destinies and destinations and goals do take time, but you still have to be aware of the details. Okay. So even though I say I'm not a detailed person, I am completely aware of the details. Completely. Okay. Because like I said, I'm a one-man show right now. Okay. And I know how easily you can take your eyes off the ball, as they say, and not be paying attention to what's festering, because usually at the end of the day, when I do get the results I want or the results I need, it all depends. It appeared to be easily and effortlessly. Okay, and then I'll look back and say, wow, that was kind of easy. Well, it ought to be. But remember, like I said, I'm a one-man show. I'm controlling it. That's why it's easily and effortlessly. I can do it easily and with little effort. Okay, because I'm the one steering it. I'm the one controlling the narrative, right? But, once you venture out into a business or whatever else, some certain factors of your details change. And so you have to always be on top of the change, is all I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. You can't just constantly focus on the destiny and not go back every so often. The bigger you become, I say stay small. That's why I support people working with small businesses. Small businesses have a lot more control of the narrative. But when you bring in these big corporate cookie cutter monopolies that have caused every city to look the same, there's no uniqueness anymore about any cities in this world. I'm getting ready to go on a road trip, and I can guarantee you every last one of these cities I plan to go through is going to look like the next one. They're going to look like, where I'm coming from. There's not going to be any difference. Okay. And they're the ones that are causing mayhem and destruction to cities. Because when they're ready to go, okay, I'm gone. These big major companies, have you heard them talk about they're leaving and they're trying to blame crime and homelessness, which is a lie and deception. It was a financial possibility from the intention, from the beginning. We're gonna milk these cities for all they have, get all the income we can out of them, all the resources out of them, and then we're just gonna toss them aside and say, okay, that's your problem to handle now. So now we got these big major companies leaving, and they're leaving open spaces, and which will eventually become abandoned and leave an eyesore in every city throughout this country. Okay? So, what happened to me individually in 2022, like I said, was significant. Okay, it was a literal eye opener. Okay, it literally opened me up to what can happen when you do not pay attention to the details around you and pay attention to the details in the company you keep. And I'm going to use an example. I told you I kind of one day decided, after I healed myself and became aware that, okay, what I want to do, everything started to be clear. I can see clearly now. okay, this is what I want to do with my life now. Now that I've recovered from a toxic environment and I've healed myself, and now I'm ready to venture out and meet people, socialize, and in other words, I'm not ready to retire. All I was doing was I wasn't retiring, I was recovering. All right, so I'm recovered. Yeah, and once you recover, you become something else. You become, if you're doing it properly, you become your genuine self. You become you are. So let me just put it this way: once you recover, you start becoming, and in most cases you're going to continue to becoming, but at the same time, you're going to notice a difference in your actions and your behavior, and that's how people will know. Okay, she's a little blah 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 blah, and okay, it's going to be a physical, somebody is, someone that's paying attention. They're going to see the transformation, I should say. They're going to hear it in my voice. Okay, they're going to see it when, with their eyes, and they're going to feel it. All the senses are going to come in and say, you know what, Michelle is there's something different about Michelle, but the essence of her is still there. And because from the beginning, I knew that when I started meditation, I started to uncover more and more and more and more and more of who I am, what I am, and why I am. So whoever is paying attention and have known me for a while, they're gonna know that, okay, there's something different going on with her, but they can't put their finger on it because usually it's energy, something invisible that you cannot see. All right, but you can see it in the cause and effect, right? Cause and effect. All right. Um, the positive and the negative, the yin and the yang. Um, uh, the reap what you've sown. The, there's no such thing as chance. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Okay. And so if you start thinking in that way, you can kind of pick up on certain details that you may have not been paying attention to. And because even though I'm a visionary person, like I said, I'll be sitting around, trust me, and fidgeting and, rubbing my face, picking at and a lot of people want to diagnose that as something. I mean, this is what I say about all that. See this? Okay. Um, I know who I am, what I am, and why I am. Okay. And it's my responsibility to figure that out. Now, I've had therapy. This was back in my 20s. All right. I had a very open-minded, very expansive, rare to see therapist back in my 20s. All right. That validated me. And I didn't feel as crazy. And I was so encouraged by that. All right. Validation is important, by the way. And I told you about how I went to this famous amusement park, okay, and there was somebody there that they locked their eyes on me. And I'm looking around thinking, are they looking at me? And it turns out that they were. That's a validation. And I've already did a video on that. That person saw me, which was powerful. And so everything, instead of everything being a fantasy, a delusion, it was actual and factual, okay, and real. So that's why it's so important to always stay grounded in reality. Make sure the factors are there of your senses. What are my toes doing? Where am I sitting? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? And make sure you are not in delusion and not in fantasy. You have to do that from now on, this day forward, because of the easiness of stuff to distract you and take you away from all of that and have you spinning and out of control. But you're not going anywhere. You're just spinning out of control. So, this brings me to this. I'm gonna not say too much more about certain factors of things, because like I said, sometimes you have to be face to face to people, and that's why I can't wait to be face to face with someone and talk to them about certain things. But anyway, and then a group, and then determine how I'm going to do this and that and the other, and how I'm going to contribute and help. When I recovered, and I can see clearly now where I want to go and what I want to be and what I want to do, the toxic environment was detox from my body, from more importantly from my thoughts. And I was able to, it's like I woke up and saw what was really going on. And I realized I need to take a hold of the wheel and control the narrative. So I decided to do certain things, come out of my comfort zone. Okay. Yeah, because like I said, I'm very confident and I'm not shy at all. But I know that a lot of people deal with this type of, what they call it, social anxiety. And I'm not sure. I think social media caused a lot of it to filter out, and the so-called reality, and it's something about that warped our sense of reality. And the social media in the beginning, and warped our sense of, like I said, warped our sense of reality, and it severely hampered our consciousness development. Okay. Yes, there were certain positives about the beginning of social media, absolutely, but we allowed it to replace certain responsibilities that we have as a human being. Okay, and we turned social media into the monster and the destroyer that it will become, that it's becoming. Okay. A lot of people come around and say, and that's when I know people don't have experience, and that's fine. Oh, so why are you so afraid of AI? AI is this and AI is that. You don't need to be all of, this, they come through with these quick empty, I should say, responses, and they have not thought about what they just said. Okay, and how that's going to come back and haunt them. Okay. Again, if we had been paying attention to the destruction and the unraveling of our interpersonal relationships, we could have stopped this monster that we created, all of us, due to our complacency and due to our something that didn't develop properly as a young child. As I said, something about your development caused you to prefer toys over humans, and now and then our massive overpopulation, not paying attention to our footprints on the planet, not paying attention to the erosion we're causing because of so many of us, rampantly stumping on, our footprints. Okay, the buildings, the materialism. And finally, there was a brave scientist that came out and said, yes, New York is sinking. New York, state of New York, is sinking. And then another brave scientist came along and talked about the glaciers. So there are some brave people coming forward and speaking on certain behalves. And so that's what I mean by 2022 is going to be so significant. Okay. And as a visionary person, I didn't know as a young girl what, I had a lot of vision as a young girl relating to myself. I've already got videos on that, and I got proof of it. And how your life is laid out for you as a young person, if you are developing properly, right? But in most cases, we were not developed properly. Okay. Thankfully, in our household, despite everything that was going on in the family. I told you that we knew love was there. Okay, my parents modeled love for us in the midst of chaos and destruction. I put a video out. You're not going to have beauty without chaos and destruction. Otherwise, you won't exist. You need it. You need some chaos and destruction in the midst of beauty. Otherwise, you won't exist. Right? Think about it. I talk about you need to clear up your contradictions as well. I saw a lot of contradiction growing up, as I said, being a visionary person, paying attention to that kind of stuff. Some people may have heard stuff that's, contradiction, and most people feel. There's a lot of people that felt it, and those are the most harmful aspects of being a feeler or emotional person. You are feeling all of that stuff. And so if you're not in control of that, that can get out of control and you can become dangerous. And you can inflict, a blink of an eye, you can just cause chaos and mayhem and destroy people physically. And you can destroy mentally. Visionary, the people with their emotions not in check are the ones that are causing all of this chaos and destruction and the mayhem and they're the ones that is causing all of this. And just like I said with everything else, everything's energy and it's invisible. And the people that are in their feelings, they don't realize how much damage they're causing with their thoughts. They just, and all of us are just as guilty as well. We're not paying attention to what the damage and the mayhem our thoughts are causing, all that energy of our thoughts. And I told you how, I've said it enough. That's why I say I'm consistent, honey. Trust, I'm consistent. But sometimes, like I say, you have to go to where people are and be very careful about how you're disseminating. And you have to, and that's what teachers do. They know exactly how to progress and make sure they're not giving their students too much to take on at once, or what, or even, even as a human being, you don't have to even be a teacher. You need to make sure you're not giving people too much all at once, because you know what, most of it will be wasted, just like food. That's why these some of these business models, do this buy one get one free. They know what they're doing. In other words, these business models where they say all you can eat, that's some type of deception, manipulation. Okay. Think about it. Contemplate on it. Don't ruminate. So 2022 was significant in so many ways. Okay, because like I said, I had recovered. I knew that I was different, or who I was supposed to be. I knew that like I said, I woke up and boom, it's like I was in another world. Because everything that's progressing, everything that's advancing is done unconsciously, and it just shows up in the behavior and actions. Cause and effect. Pay attention to cause and effect and the power that is. And that's why this planet is being destroyed right under our feet because of cause and effect. Right? And how we just dropped the ball. And we became so focused on, the materialness of it all is the main culprit of it all. We didn't understand that power there and the might of our thoughts, what they were churning up and conjuring up. We just dismissed it all and thought nothing of it, and didn't realize the damage it was causing nonetheless. And a lot of it was complacency. A lot of it is just what nobody didn't care. A lot of it is greed, and a lot of it is nefarious, because there are, like I said, an encasement of negativity that surrounds this whole planet, and it was there intentionally. It's there intentionally. All right, because there are some people that have a higher consciousness development. Okay, like I said, you have a variety of that on there, and sometimes the higher their consciousness is, a lot of them have degenerated over the course of that as well, because certain needs may not have been met as a, say, a juvenile or a young child, and it festered into some type of evil, acute evilness or acute negativity, where it became extreme and fanatical. Because look, I'm not getting my needs met here. Nobody's here taking care of me and loving me, and it's just something just festering in the mind. And everybody said, "Oh yeah," and most of them, like I said, they get a lot of attention from their intellectual capacity or their educational prowess. They're smart, they're geniuses, but they're not getting something deep within the innermost part of themselves met. The love. You need love, love, love. It's all about love. That's what it was all about. It's about love. We were created out of love, all right? And so if you want to be literal like our parents, okay, most of our parents were in a loving, intimate exchange to create us, right? Right? So when I woke up, one day in 2022, I realized things were different around me. Okay, everything was a little bit more real to me, and almost what's the word? It was enhanced, and everything about me was enhanced. Not only my vision, and so I kept focusing on my vision because I know people wouldn't understand the energy of it. That's why I didn't say much about the energy of what was also happening within me, because it's all energy, by the way. And I happened to be, have a certain deja vu about something, and remember dreams that I had, and da 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 da, close, almost losing my life a couple of times, and then seeing someone that I hadn't seen their face in a while. And then I can remember, how I reacted when I first saw the person's face, and then to see it again. So there's no such thing as coincidences, like I said. No such thing as chances. It's a cause and effect. And if you are in alignment with reasonable, rational, logical thinking, you understand your perception of your reality. Okay, that's how you know that, okay, this is real. Now, again, like I said, this is going to be a long video, and that's fine. I can already see it, but hey, so the energy and the flow of love, okay, yes, that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's real, and I know that, okay, and I know the difference too between love and infatuation. I know the difference between that. Love and infatuation. I know the difference. And, that can be talked about later. I talked a little bit about it, but I'm just telling you how powerful it is. And how, at the same time, hate and jealousy can throw off the same energy frequency as well. Okay, so this brings me back to this. You have to pay attention to the company you keep, and you have to pay attention to the company around you. You have to pay attention to the people that are in your ear for your best interests. And usually these are your employees. You call them your employees because you pay them. If you're paying them, they're your employees. Whether they're your husband, your wife, your children. And you have to know how to separate that. And most people don't. And most people are not. And most people get hurt the most in those cases with the company that they keep, and the company that supposedly has their best interests, and the company that supposedly care and do this and that and the other, bowing to your every demands and not bringing up problems that you may be going through or having. They would just want to get paid. They just want to get paid. And you become irrelevant. All right? You become irrelevant. You start paying people because then people see you differently. Right? That's why a lot of this stuff fails. You have all these dispute, people in court fighting. You have these divorces, and then it turns into to just and so people go through these divorces, and everything they worked for, their vision, is all wiped out and taken away from them, and they have nothing they can say or do about it. So in 2022, yes, they get to someone because jealousy is there in that circle, in that group. Jealousy is there. And I just want to say this: you need to, whoever is understand me and feel me, hear me, see me. You need to bring down. You need to know what your group is about, because a lot of people pay attention to the number of people in the group. Right? They pay attention to, oh well, I got a large following of people, honey. Because that's what's big here. That's something that's the problem as well. People are so focused on how many people following them, but they don't know the caliber of people following them, and they don't know the damage and harm that person following them can cause the individual that they're following. People. I mean, social media has made it easier than ever for, like I said, the narcissistic sociopaths to come in there and wreak havoc and just completely destroy whoever they're following. And that's their intention because of jealousy. So I want to say to certain individuals, I sense that you have to reevaluate the people following you. Okay, you have to. And if you need to unfollow people, you need to unfollow people. If you need to block people, you need to block people. Because I sense, in the future, these people largely following people, they're doing that for nefarious reasons, okay? And I know that there are certain, let's just talk about high profile people. I know a lot of you say, well, because never mind. Let me just talk the high profile. I know a lot of you are creatives, and you're just promoting yourself. You're promoting your creativity. You're just making a livelihood, and you want people to dance and have a good time but at the same time, I think you're recognizing the type of people are following you and why. All right, they're parasites, they're leeches. Their whole intention is to destroy you eventually. Okay, I'm going to say that to certain high profile people. Okay, the intention and the people that are following you is to destroy you. And it's because of jealousy. Okay, I told you about Queen Nefertiti. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name properly. That jealousy and rage in her. How, a lot of people were looking up to Queen Nefertiti. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but a lot of people didn't realize that she was a murderer. And she had extreme jealousy. Okay. So people that are following you are looking to destroy you on behalf of someone else that's jealous of you, or on behalf of the fact that they're just jealous and they want what you want. They want to be you. They want you. They don't want to have to work they don't want to have to work to get where you've gotten. No way. They want to leapfrog over everybody else that's following and get to you and destroy you and take what you have. Please hear me. If you're high profile, please hear me. Okay, so it is smart with this one particular person who says, unfollow me. And I think deep down inside, she understands how important that is. I think it is time for there has to be a new approach to how we share with people, but at the same time, be careful that you're not doing it out of fear. You want to do it out of concern, and you want to do it out of urgency. But when you do it out of fear, you may have too much emotion into it. All right, make sure it's a strategic situation with these people following you. Make sure there's something strategic about it. Like I said, with my Facebook page, I open it up for everybody. I open it up for a reason. I want to bring in certain people. I want to understand you. I want to get to know your realities. Okay, because I know Black culture inside and out. And most of the people that are following me on my page, or that I invited on my page, you are the type of personalities I remember around in Black culture. And I got along just fine with you. Doesn't mean that I support your activities. Okay, but I was able to function and thrive and get on with it with you in the community, you in the culture. So that's why I know it's not Black culture. Okay, it's the infiltration in Black culture. Okay, it's the crusaders in Black cultures. Attempting to help. That's what they said. And I told you about how they stole my parents, stole my family's land. These businessmen in suits. Right. Or these businessmen in suits carrying the Bibles. Okay, let's call it out. All right. So I just wanted to share this long video. I hadn't had a long video like this, I haven't had it but you know what? I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm sensing. Okay, and I'm sensing trouble. How about that? To some of these high profile people. How about that? And the people that are following you. How about that? So pay attention. And a lot of people say, well, don't share too much about yourself. I keep coming back to that is because you need to know why people are saying that. Ask them more specifically, okay, what do you mean? All right, because they may be trying to warn you too. You understand that? So I want to talk more about this, of course, in the future. But this is something I want to say And like I said, I want to send this out to people that I love, over the stars, over the moon, in the mountains. Okay, pay attention to the company you keep. Pay attention to the people around you in your circle. Okay, I sense there's some jealousy and there's some envy sharking around certain high profile people, whether you are or entrepreneur, or whether you are an entertainer, or whether you are an influencer. Okay, I sense some dangers. All right. Is that being forecasted? No, it isn't. It's called, I'm just highly sensory. I'm a highly sensory person. I'm just picking up on senses that we all can do if we manage our thoughts and stay in reality. It's nothing special about it. And I don't want to hear nothing more about that part of it. Okay. Pay attention to the company you keep. Evaluate the people that are in your inner circle. Be mindful of the instructions you give certain people about, certain details about yourself. Like I said, you need a contact person, somebody that knows you, has no agenda per se, and they ought to be separate from your business life. If you have a business life, or you're running a business, small business, big business, entrepreneur, creativity, have a one person that has no ties to that at all. Okay, that can be brutally honest with you, brutally. Sometimes it's a family member. I use my young people. Some of my young. I told you. I said it. But it's just me. I'm a one-man show. But the people that have a little bit more people in their circle around them, okay, you need somebody that's outside of that circle to be in your ear and telling you the truth about what's going on around you before you get hurt. All right, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to send peace and love, all right, to everyone all over the world. And I want to send peace and love to people I love and the people I've told that I love you. If I say I love you, I love you. That means I'm going to protect you. I'm going to defend you. Okay, so, and that means, and I mean that. Okay, and I think my actions and behaviors has proven that. Right? So, I'm going to end it here and go ahead and handle my day and start getting things going here. I got a lot of things to do, so to get myself prepared for my next journey. So, peace and love, everybody, and trust me, I'll be back.